Welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will be talking about the continuing impasse on the Ladakh border and where it will head to. It's now 2 months since the military face-off in Ladakh began, and there seems to be no end in sight to the impasse in the near future. Even though top military level talks have taken place between the two sides, and both sides have been talking about disengagement, but the disengagement is not taking place. After the latest round of Lieutenant General level talks on 1st July, Indian government sources said the disengagement process is complex. In the agenda today, we will try to understand this complexity of the matter and other aspects related to the standoff from someone who has held key positions in the Indian Army. We welcome Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, who has served as Director General of Military Operations. But before we start the discussion, let's see a small report.
The military face-off between India and China on the Ladakh border is continuing even 2 months after it began. There seems to be no early end in sight to the eyeball-to-eyeball situation, which has already claimed lives of 20 Indian soldiers and the unknown number of army men on the Chinese side. Amidst the situation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took everyone by surprise as he visited Ladakh to boost the morale of the troops there on Friday. More than anything else, the presence of the Prime Minister in Ladakh was a huge message to China that India is not going to yield. He amplified that message by denouncing expansionism and making it clear that India should not be considered a weak party. The Prime Minister asserted that entire Ladakh is India's pride and that India has for centuries given a strong response to aggressors. Modi said the enemies have seen both the fire and fury of the Indian soldiers. The armies of the India and China are locked in a face-off situation at 4 points on the line of actual control in East Ladakh. There have been transgressions by China earlier also, but this time the situation has turned bloody. There is speculations and apprehensions that the standoff could escalate into a war as both sides have mobilized thousands of troops and asserts, which include air assets. Talks have been held at diplomatic and military levels to defuse the situation, but the impasse continues even as both sides have agreed on disengagement. After the latest round of Lieutenant General level talks on July 1st, Indian government sources said the disengagement is complex and there should be no speculation on that issue. Bureau Report.
Now we welcome our special guest, Lieutenant General Bhatia. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, let me ask you, the first question is like, how do you see the current face-off with China and the Prime Minister's visit to Ladakh yesterday to boost the morale of the troops?
Let me first come to the Prime Minister's visit, because it is a recent thing which happened yesterday. It was not expected by anyone because of the ongoing talks, and everyone thought that the Prime Minister would not visit. But I think it is an excellent message which has gone to the troops that the Prime Minister is with them. It is really moral boosting for the troops and the armed forces. It is excellent for the leaders who get to hear the vision of the Prime Minister in person. So that is an excellent thing to do. Secondly, it also sends a strategic signal to China that we are here to stand firm. Our territorial integrity, our sovereignty is non-negotiable. We will take on whatever steps we have to ensure our territorial integrity. So that's a message to China, and the Prime Minister not shied away from going to the place of action. The third message which goes is to the people of India that look, we are capable and we are there and we are with our forces and we as a nation have to stand together. And the fourth message, which is very important again, is to the rest of the world, to the international community, that we are here, we will resolve our issues with China ourselves. We do not need third-party intervention, and we have a stance which is just, which is a good stance, and we'll abide by that. And Prime Minister Modi is always, as we all know, he's a leader, and he does like to be in the forefront of clarification, take charge of it, and that is what he has done. So that is as far as Prime Minister's visit is concerned. I think it's a very good signal which has gone out to the world, to China, and the troops especially, and meeting the Galwan casualties. That is something which is very important. Going and meeting the casualties out there, giving them a shabash. It can't get better than this.
Yeah.
Coming down to the situation, now I do feel that there is much more to what China is doing than that meets the eye. There's a strategic segment to it. It's a big picture we got to look at. It's a larger game China is playing. China has indulged in what I say, tried and tested strategy of coercive military usage, military coercion as it is. It has done so in East Sea, South China Sea, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. So it is not new. China has indulged in this in a big way, and this is totally different from what we had seen earlier in Devsang in 2013, Tumar 2014, even in Doklam in 2017, because it happened in multiple places. So China is there sending a signal to us, which is at a strategic level, especially as the pandemic is, China is being blamed for the pandemic, for the made in China coronavirus. So China is doing all this to put pressure on India, but I think China went a little wrong. They did not understand or did not factor in a very resolute resolve from India. So that is how I put it for the present.
So yeah, you are rightly said that they did not expect the Indian pushback, rightly. So sir, you have been DGMO and you must have dealt with Chinese during your career. Please explain to our viewers how diabolic the Chinese approach is.
See, China is there's no doubt that China is a big country. It is the second biggest power as of today. Yeah. It's an economic powerhouse. And whatever we say, we are neighbors, and we have a 3,400 kilometers border with China. We have lived with China. Even post-62, we have been living with China, and especially our border dispute has been there, but it has been, the most longest disputed border in the world, but the most peaceful disputed border till the 15th of June this year when Galwan happened. The last shot in anger fired in 75, in October 75, which was 45 years ago. So we manage the relationship very well at all levels. At the geopolitical level, we have managed it very well. Economic level, we manage it well. We are one of the largest trading partners with China. We have cultural linkages to old civilizations. So we have managed the relationship extremely well. But I think Galwan and the present situation it has been has changed the equations totally. The 1962 generation, which had the treachery of China in 1962, Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, and then stabbing us in the back. We are just getting over that generation. And now Galwan happens. Galwan is again a treachery. It's a treachery. And the ghost of Galwan will impact the India-China relations, not only the army and the armed forces and managing the borders. It will impact India-China relations in all domains, in all dimensions. So that is what China has to see. It will impact about 60 crore, 600 million youth who will remember China's treachery and China's backstabbing again. And they will remember China as an untrustworthy partner, as an untrustworthy neighbor. So this is what has changed. So China should understand that what it has done has exceeded the limits. It has bitten more than it can chew. It has been doing this everywhere. And so there are reasons to it. The reason is, of course, one of the major reasons is the COVID-19, the coronavirus. And of course, there are other reasons also, which I think China has indulged in trying to put pressure on India.
Sir, as per my understanding, Galwan was never a disputed area. We have seen Devsang earlier also, and we have seen DB also. So can you throw some light on this? Why Galwan?
See, Galwan, if you see, is an area where he has advantages, tactical level advantages. Galwan, 1962 also started with Galwan only, the main thing. So we have the Jefferson plains where he tried to come in April 2013. I was a DGMO that time. He stayed there 21 days. If he stands, he changed the status quo. That was the first. After 86 Sumdrong-Chu, till 2013, there was no such thing.
Correct.
So there were face-offs. It's not that face-offs is not there. But there is no changing of status quo. There is no permanent structure which had come up. So this happened in Depsang, but Depsang...
At that time, they had pitched tents also. I think 19 kilometers deep inside India, is it?
19.5 kilometers deep inside. And they had pitched tents and they had blocked us from entering this area of, Galwan and to the north of it. So that was the aim. And after 21 days, they went back to status quo and we could resolve it in a peaceful manner. As per the agreed upon protocols, there are protocols and agreements. And thereafter, because of this, then we went in for, in 2013 October, we signed a border defense cooperation agreement, which was a step forward from the earlier three agreements of 93, 96, and 2005. But I'm saying that we have to understand the context of it. So when he comes this time to Galwan, he comes to Pangong, so he comes to Hot Springs. So there is a larger aim. In Galwan, it is easy for him to come. He has a road. We didn't have a road. We're building a road. We built a bridge now. The DBO road was not there. The operation in 2019. So we have also been improving our infrastructure gradually. And as infrastructure improves, naturally our capability to press our planes onto the areas which are contested also improves. And the transgressions do take place more, and the intensity, scope, depth, and frequency of transgressions will increase. The face also will increase. That is a given. I had written a paper in 2017 saying that. So what China has done, they came to Galwan, because Galwan is a place which directly threatens at the tactical operational level the road from Darbuk, Shok to Dolak Oldie. So that's the pressure point which they thought they would be doing. So that is how they came to Galwan. But then they did not realize that we will be firm out there. We have stood our ground at Patrol Point 14 where this incident has happened, a little away from it. So that was something. But what is more important is after agreeing to a disengagement at the top level commander meeting 6th of June, they did not go back. And when our troops went to verify, they were actually, it was a pre-planned, premeditated thing, and they went in an ambush. So that is something where tactically, I think it went very wrong, and these have got implications at the strategic level, at the national level.
So as you said, sir, the June 6 understanding, even after that, they did not go back. But that was an understanding, oral understanding. But we have, as you mentioned, so many agreements which call for, talk about peace and tranquility on the border, which are now maybe just a piece of paper, which mean nothing now because after the bloody face of how many soldiers killed and all. So do you think, as you said yourself, is there a bigger game plan? People are anxious to know whether it will lead to a war. What is your assessment about it?
See, definitely there is a bigger game plan. China is China. China looks, plans long, it looks deep. And we should understand that we never underestimate an adversary. And China is an adversary. We'll go very wrong and underestimate this thing. So what China is doing is sending you strategic signals. They want concession in many fields. India is not willing to give it. Our sovereignty, like I said, is non-negotiable. So I do feel China, for one, has gone strategically wrong also. Tactically, it is poor tactics. Now they've got strategically wrong also. They've taken on the wrong nation. They thought like South China Sea and other places where they have generally, not obeyed the global rules. So out here also they'll get away with it. The agreements which have served as the purpose have now, there's no trust in the agreements because of Galwan.
Yeah, that's what I am saying, yeah.
Yes. So we'll have to look at the agreements again. India has changed the rules of engagement.
But we may sign agreement, but they will not trust, they will not implement those. So what do you do then?
Yes, that's a very major issue because there's a lack of trust, or there's a trust deficit.
Yeah.
This trust was there earlier. We used to, long border. I've been on the line of actual control. I've been a fourth commander also. We used to sit down, break bread, eat together. There was good interaction. Every time there's not a face-off. There are face-offs definitely. But then we meet at the line of actual control, and we also share food. We sit down, we talk, and we go back, we come back. So, but that trust is now after Galwan, that trust is not there anymore. So we'll have to look at the agreements afresh we may have
So we
to
need
go
a new
for
approach
more
to deal with China, isn't it?
Absolutely, we need a new approach. We need a holistic approach to deal with China. It is at the geopolitical level, it is at the diplomatic level, it's the economic level, and it is also at the military level. We need peace through preparedness. Peace has to come through strength. China respects strength, and we've got to create relative strength. Otherwise, China will keep coming on our borders to trouble us. So we'll have to synergize all elements of national power.
So do you think, sir, we were caught off guard because we are more watchful on the Western front with Pakistan, but China, maybe we trusted them that they will not do anything like that. We remember that George Fernandez, when he was defense minister, he in fact described China as the enemy number one, and there was a huge controversy, and actually he was rubbished by everybody. So, can we now say China is enemy number one?
No, I will still not say that. Let's say that we live in a world where China is definitely an adversary, but yes, first thing, let me clarify a thing. I don't think we're caught off guard. At the tactical operational level, we knew what was happening, and we did take precautionary measures. We did build up strength where we didn't have strength. We did build up strength. So it is not that we are caught off guard at the tactical operational level. So we were very sure about that. What they were doing, we were watching that, and from day one, we had, as per the agreement, we had mutual and proportional build-up. If they had X number of men out there, we had X number of men out there. If they had X number of weapons there, we had X number of weapons out there. So it was equitable, proportional, and that is as per the agreement. So we followed the agreement letter and spirit. China did not follow it in spirit, it followed letter because they did not fire still. So that is where China's legal wars are coming to being. So looking at China as enemy number one, no, I will not say it is enemy number one, it's an adversary. And we do have adversaries in the west, adversaries in the north, and adversaries. I was commissioned in 1974, and we were told China is a long-term threat. And we always believed that China is a long-term threat. What has changed now is China no longer remains a long-term threat. It is a threat, ab initio, which is there. It's a de facto threat. It's an ipso facto threat. It's a threat which we need to tackle today, which we need to tackle tomorrow in the immediate term, and we want to tackle in the long term. So China's threat has manifested now, and that is how we have to look at it. And hence, it is important for us to build capabilities in the military domain, capabilities in the diplomatic domain, capabilities in the economic domain, and more importantly, most of us don't realize we need capability in the technological domain, because our technologies are mostly coming from China. The 59 apps which have been now banned, I wish we had done it earlier, because he's already taken most of our data. We have 500 million users of mobile telephones. All the mobiles are made, most of the mobiles are made in China. So he is already holding our data with him. So it is now for there I durust time. We have stopped it now, but we have to create capabilities, in-house capabilities, indigenous capabilities, and we have to self-rely.
No, India has been, if we talk about economic relations, India has been raising this trade imbalance issue for long, but there was no remedy to that. But why I talked about off guard is like in the context of complacency, because I would like to point out that this is the year, 70th year of India-China establishment of diplomatic relations. And in this year, when the celebration, there were 70 celebrations lined up for the year, throughout the year. But instead of celebration, now we are dealing with the, military face-off. So that is, in that context, actually I talked about complacency maybe.
No, you're right. We were 70 years of independence, everything was going so very well. I think we failed to comprehend or understand the intent of China. So
yeah,
that is where you're absolutely right out there. We did not see the intent of China, which aimed at pressurizing India. I would say, the word we use is, it thought it would bully India into some submission somewhere else.
Because we were in the celebratory mode this year. I mean, military exchanges were also planned, but now this happens.
Yes, absolutely right. This has happened, and this has set back our relationship as people to people, as nation to nation, and the diplomatic, economic, and there will be repercussions to this, and there will be an impact which China will have to also bear the brunt.
Sir, as many many people are talking on maybe social media and others that it will lead to a war, maybe there will be like Kargil-like situation or something like this. But there are many people who think that this is not the opportune time for having a escalated military confrontation given the situation created by coronavirus and the crisis. What is your view?
A war is never an option. A war is never an option any nation whatsoever. War is always a last resort. And we should not look at war as an option. We should look at deterring China's aggressiveness, as I call it. It should not lead to war because we have China being very aggressive. It is not only aggressive, but also arrogant. So we have to create capabilities to ensure we deter China from being aggressive to us. And war is not an option. China needs India. India needs China, but China needs India much more than India needs China. So we understand all that. China needs India. China cannot be going everywhere. It has got problems in South China Sea. It's got problems in Hong Kong. It's got problems in Xinjiang. It's got internal problems, external problems. So China has got multiple problems.
But sir, I think China is not hesitant in using the military operations or something, because I keep reading that they are planning some operation against Taiwan, capturing of an island there. So they are, I mean, going about the military operations, maybe using the garb of coronavirus.
Yeah, China that's something. China is very aggressive. It was assertive earlier, it was aggressive now. But even look at China. China is not going to war over Taiwan. It has not gone in war. The last war with China fought in 1979 with Vietnam. So China also uses, military as its instrument of coercion. CLA is an instrument of the party, not of the state. Like Indian Army is for the nation. CLA is an organ, an instrument of the Communist Party.
That's true.
So we have to understand the difference. That is there for the party, not for the nation. So China is using this strategy.
No, I mentioned Taiwan not in the context of war, but military aggression or something, because they know Taiwan cannot give a pushback. But maybe Americans will help them, that's a different matter. But they know it will be a cakewalk. But I'm talking about the context of military operations, like they are doing with Philippines also, and they are having problems with Japan also. So their expansionist designs are well known. And maybe they are using this crisis situation to maybe escalate that.
Yes, they're using the COVID-19 situation. They take it not as a threat but as an opportunity. What they're doing in Taiwan, and like you rightly said, Philippines and Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. So they use the military for posturing, and they're doing it very, very well. But I think like I said earlier, they're bitten more than they can chew with India. So that is something they would be looking at very closely now as to how much can they do, and they will not like to cross our red lines. I'm very sure about that because they will have to pay heavily. Their aim is to challenge US for the supremacy for world power. They want a bipolar world power. We're looking at a multipolar world. India has got acceptability all over. That is something we have to see. After the coronavirus, we have got acceptability. We helped out in the region. We helped out, outside the region, extended region. We helped out in USA with medicine. So we have more acceptability. We have a soft power, a culture. So we are a peace-loving nation. We never been expansionist. Whenever we have been invited outside, also whether Sri Lanka, we were there for a year and a half plus, and we came back. In the Maldives, we went in at the invitation. I was there for the Maldives operation also. I was there for the first one to stand out there.
No, maybe China think that the world is engaged with the coronavirus, busy with it, so we can carry out these operations.
Yes, definitely. You're right. China has taken the coronavirus opportunity, and he is looking at corona as an opportunity when the world is engaged in a pandemic. No one thought that China will do something, and China has done what it has done, which is definitely that has surprised everyone because we were also protecting our forces. We are looking inwards to employ all our resources, our focus, our energies to controlling the pandemic. So China has definitely taken advantage of it. So there I agree with you totally. And there I agree with you that China has taken a little bit of surprise also. Because we fail to understand China's intent. We could have never thought that despite a pandemic, China would react like this. Because China was under pressure actually. The world was after China.
That is what I was talking about, the off guard, catching off guard.
They caught us off guard totally. We could never understand China's intent and China's strategy in countering pandemic. Whereas they should have reached out to the world, finding a vaccine for a pandemic because they had a lead. It is the other way around. They said, okay, they use the opportunity. Yes.
So we are sorry, sir, we are running out of time. Thank you so much for participating in this debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
That's all in the agenda today. We will be back on Monday with another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye and keep watching APN News.